Are all IEP minutes supposed to be delivered by a certified teacher, or can a para do push-in minutes to fulfill them? So that's a good question. So it depends on a couple of things. So on the schedule of services page, there are in-class support minutes. So like for purposes of this question, let's say that you have 100 minutes in math, 100 minutes in reading, 100 minutes in science, and 100 minutes in social studies. If you have a math and a reading goal, those in-class support minutes have to be delivered by a special educator. They have to. If those minutes are not tied to an IEP goal, depending on the level of certification for that para, there might be some wiggle room, right? And so the in-class support, is it tied to specially designed instruction? So in the present levels, we have a critical area of need that always will have a corresponding service. It doesn't necessarily always have an IEP goal. So in those instances, like say for social studies and math, and you did, social studies and science, and you didn't have an IEP goal, we would assume that those minutes are not to work on an IEP goal, but to, provide the student redirection, help him get focused, maybe help him get lined up to go to small group for testing. There's different parameters around that. But ICS minutes in class support are to be delivered by a special educator. There might be some liberty in your state around the statutes if that special educator comes into the room once a week. But know that paraprofessionals are to work under the, in quotation marks, not my words, it's what's in the law, in quotation marks, direct supervision. I don't know how we debate that, but people want to debate that. So for me, when a child's getting special education minutes, is because we know that he needs those minutes, or he won't be successful. So just make sure that in your document, it's pristine who is going to deliver those minutes and what are those minutes for, especially if it's not tied to a goal. What are those minutes for? There's a reason that they said he needed 100 minutes in science and social studies. Maybe it's because the impact of his reading obviously impacts him in science and social studies. So maybe tease that out more in the IEP and then ask what those in-class support minutes are for. If those in-class support minutes are for specially designed instruction because he has deficits in reading and science and social studies, then you and I know that specially designed instruction, here's how you know what it is. It's special, it's designed, and it's instruction. So that at minimum has to be done first by a certified credentialed special educator. Could then the paraprofessional replicate what you've done? Absolutely. If there is supervision, if there is close proximity and frequent proximity to the teacher. What we're seeing a lot, which might be what's going on with your kiddo, is that for all 180 days in the year, there's never been a special educator. So when I'm in a meeting, I will say, who is the special educator delivering the science and social studies in class support minutes? And they will say, Bob Smith is paraprofessional. And I will say, who is the special educator over these minutes? And they will say, it's the case manager, Karen. We have a case manager. Okay. And I will say to the case manager, Cindy, how many minutes a week do you go into his class for science? None. How many minutes a week do you go in his class for social studies? None. How many times have you ever given him instruction in science or social studies? Never. And so what we're finding is that case managers who have, I don't know, something crazy, 30, 40, 65 kids on their caseload are doing all the IEP meetings, all the paperwork. And then that paraprofessional comes down the hall and they talk about the paperwork. And while there's nothing wrong with that, that's not specially designed instruction. You looking at my paperwork is not specially designed instruction. You giving me tips on how to work with him, but you've never worked with him, is never going to be specially designed instruction. And so for those pieces, we need to make sure that what is being delivered meets the minutes required to fulfill the IEP.